that men are from Mars and yes, women are from Venus. Now you bring those differences to a relationship and you have a tricky situation. And this edition of Marriage 101, Starr Calo-oy is back with some advice on knowing and understanding the differences between men and women. Starr, welcome back.
All right.
Glad to have you.
Okay.
I love that you're talking about this. You're an expert when it comes to caregiving, and you've been married now 20 plus years to Bob, and so you know a lot, and you're helping a lot of folks. Let's first of all talk about these differences with men and women. There are differences, and there needs to be.
There sure does.
Yeah.
Well, let's take, for example, let's talk about a clock. A clock is made up of all kinds of gears and wheels, but if they hit each other in just the right place. They fill in each other's gaps. Now, if they didn't, if they were exactly the same, it'd just be a heap of metal and it wouldn't function.
That's a good
analogy. But they fill in each
Yeah.
other. Same thing with an orchestra. If the orchestra was made up of all violins or all drums and they were tuned exactly the same, it would be a bunch of noise. But if you've got all different pieces of the orchestra, then it blends together, harmony, and it's beautiful.
Yes, and that's what we want. That's what we're going for today.
That's right, exactly.
Let's first off talk about women as it relates to stress.
Okay. As far as women are concerned, women will, when they get stressed out, they'll overreact. They use absolutes like always and never and things of that nature. And men can help women actually, Bridget, by listening, by sitting down, by getting quiet and using eye contact, being empathetic. And that's some tips for men to be able to help women when they get stressed out. Otherwise, the women are going to vent at them instead of about the situation.
Yes. And Starr, isn't it true, because as women we are balancing marriage and family and work, and there are going to be stressful moments.
Sure there are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, men also have problems, ideas with stress as far as things go as well.
Yeah, they're completely different. They retreat. Men detach themselves from the situation. I don't want to talk. Let me just relax. Let me be alone so that I can sort this out. And instead of a woman chasing him, she can help him by leaving him alone until the detachment time is over.
Because that's what we do, Starr. We go, well, what's wrong? Well, let's talk about it. Is that not the...
please. That's because women are into relationship. If you ask a woman, for example, for us, how you define yourself, it's in terms of relationship. But a man, if you ask him how he defines himself, it's in terms of his occupation.
Oh, that's so good, Starr. I just had a little light bulb moment there.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about communication, how we share our feelings and how we go about communication with our spouse in different ways.
That's right. Women communicate with their feelings and men with facts. Men just want to get down to the bottom line, and I want to communicate. I'm going to communicate with you only if it has to do with improving a situation, fixing a situation, overcoming something, because they've got the hunter and the provider and the warrior inside of them. They're made up of a lot of testosterone, and God made them completely different, Bridget, because they have to do all these things. Now, women are more soft, and they're in childbearing. You know, they do childbearing, and so their skin is softer, and they don't have as much of a need for red blood cells as men do. Women retain fat. Men are much more lean because they don't bear children, see? So with in regard to communication, men will communicate only when it's absolutely necessary.
Right.
So our tip for men is to learn how to open your mouth and talk.
Right.
Talk about feelings and your emotions.
Oh, I see how this works, because then when a man shuts down, what seems to be shutting down to us is really just his communication skill.
Right.
I don't want to say lack of communication skill, but it's very different from how we do it.
And we need that. See, we need the balance. Now, with a man and a woman, husband and wife, they bring each other into balance. And it's wonderful. We don't want a clone. We don't want someone exactly like us. Because, see, when we first are dating, we are thrilled with our partner's differences. Oh, they're so interesting.
Right.
But then when they get together, they're thinking not differences, fascinating differences. They're thinking, oh, they're so different.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So we want to recognize the differences, appreciate the differences, and we want to utilize the differences, because things that you can't do, your spouse can do.
Right.
And it's good.
Yeah, it's the yin and the yang. Yes. And women are nurturers by nature.
That's right.
That's what we do. Yeah.
That's right. And that's why, like I said before, we have more fat on us because we have to nurture. I mean, if we were in a cold blizzard, a snowstorm, we'd be able to keep our young warm longer than a man would. See?
Right.
And while he's out hunting and he's out killing slaying whatever it is, you know, I mean, we're over here taking care of the babies.
Yeah, so there is hope
Yeah.
after all, Starr.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, it's understanding what makes your spouse unique and celebrating that, at the same time remaining true to who you are.
Absolutely, and that's why our classes are so vitally important, Bridget, because we're able to explain these things so that people can take these tools, use them in their relationships immediately, and they are free classes.
Which is exceptional, and we want to let people know how they can become a part of these classes. This is really where you can go, ask questions, ask